this is Animat, and welcome back to the Muppet Vlog, and welcome to the Season 5 review of The Muppet Show, which is the final season. So we're pretty much going to be looking into how The Muppet Show ultimately capped off. Was Season 5 something that they ended off with a bang, or did they really went off on a really low note? Who knows what happens, but well, actually, I do know what happened, considering that I've seen all the episodes so far. But anyways, going into what pretty much happened in Season 5 is that, now, at this point, The Muppet Show really did a lot, and they're pretty much comfortable with what The Muppet Show is in general. But I think the one thing that really did stand out about Season 5 is that this is the one where they really do try to push the technical limits. Now they know what to do with The Muppet Show itself. This is the part where they really try to go to the next level in terms of the technical achievements of what they can do in terms of their puppetry. Try to find new and crazier ways to go and interpret many different musical numbers. And it's in this season in particular where you can find like the biggest achievement that they have done on a technical puppetry scale, which would have to be the In the Navy number, where they kind of made this entire elaborate story, and you see several sets where a whole bunch of Viking pigs, they would go off and try to like go plunder and pillage an entire village. And I just noticed I kind of rhymed there. But anyways, they would they go do that in an entire village, and they go take all the animals in there, like ducks, sheep, chickens, and all that kind of stuff, so that they could be members of their crew. And like the scale that they have done in there, it really shows how far they've really gone with the puppetry in the Muppet Show, or at least compared to the other seasons. They really went to a whole new level. I mean, sure, the puppets themselves are not as crazy creative as probably you might have seen in the other seasons, but just in terms of the sets and the whole way through that they would elaborate something, it's pretty nuts. Like, the sets are bigger, the acts are bigger, just everything about it, it's pretty much bigger, and even some of the stories would really go far as well. Like, I remember the one story that would probably stand out is the Johnny Cash one, where they would have this great battle between Kermit and the Muppet Show, and then you got this radio host trying to take over the show, considering that Johnny Cash is in there. And on top of that, I would have to say that's probably the best thing that would come out of this season altogether, is that they really try to make the Muppet Show a bit bigger. They try to really go and find new ways to really push the limits of puppetry on television, to really get that illusion, to really get to a whole new level, and to be a lot more creative in a show that is already highly creative with the stuff that they have already done. It is very unique and really fascinating with the things that they can do. Actually, in terms of creative Muppets, I mean, there is one episode with Brooke Shields where they devoted an entire episode of doing the story of Alice in Wonderland, and of course, there are a lot of really unique Muppets in there, especially the Jabberwocky puppet that they've made. That is actually really cool. And on top of that, I would have to say this is the season where they got the most unique guest stars, like the ones that really do stand out. I mean, of course, you do get your regular fill of like singers and comedians, but you also get a few that are very unique. They have a talent that is not very common in the Muppet Show. Like, they got Jean-Pierre Rampal, who is a flautist. They got Senior Wences, who is a highly creative ventriloquist. You got Chris Langham, who is one of the writers of the show. And then you also got Roger Moore, who is James Bond. You got Buddy Rich, who is a drummer. And you also got Wally Bogue, who is a Disneyland performer. And you also got Gene Kelly, the legendary dancer and singer and actor from Singing in the Rain. And then you also got Brooke Shields, who is the youngest guest star at the age of 14. And you know, that definitely does bring in a more unique identity, a unique identity onto this season, where you do have a bit more of a variety in terms of the special guest stars. And, you know, it actually is pretty cool considering that it does give a moment for the guests to really shine their talent, to show what they can really do. And, yeah, you know, it really is awesome, and especially all the different creative ways that they can do in terms of the story itself. I've already mentioned the Johnny Cash one, but there are also some times that they can really work into, like, whatever special guest star they have, they can really make it a big theme. Like, with the Señor Wences episode, they really made it all about puppets, and it's probably the most meta episode that you can find, where the Muppets would play with the idea of puppets. And then you also got Carol Burnett, which is an entire episode where Gonzo wanted to do an entire dance marathon. And it's mostly this entire episode that's like the At the Dance bit. Or another really unique one where you got the stories of 1001 Nights. And it's all told through Marty Feldman. And then right at the end, you also got this amazing cameo of the Sesame Street characters. But other than that, like, even though there are a lot of good moments, the one criticism that I do have to give for this season, however, is that even though, like, you can think of a lot of unique and creative ideas in terms of, like, what special guest stars you have, what stories you can create, and also in terms of, like, the technicality that you can push onto the episode. In this season in particular, there isn't really a lot that really do stand out. Like, the episodes themselves, like, they don't really stand out as some of the most memorable or some of the best of the entire series. I mean, of course, there will be some memorable bits and pieces here and there, but there isn't any, there isn't a lot that would really make it so grand compared to all the rest. Like, in terms of just the entire episode, where everything about it works, where the story would work, where the special guest star was fantastic, the comedy was solid, and everything else. I'm not saying that these episodes are bad. Like, maybe there are, like, maybe one or two bad episodes in this, but I'm saying that a lot of them are more of your standard Muppet Show episodes, where, like, they do have a formula that's going on, and it's mostly the same thing the whole way through. Now, with that said, though, the highlights that actually are kind of standout episodes, like, if you would ask me which episodes I would recommend for you guys to go and check out, there are a lot of really good ones. I would say, like, the Carol Burnett one is often highly praised. Marty Feldman was hilarious. The Wally Bogue one was honestly really fantastic. And Señor Wences is phenomenal. I would probably, like, it would be debatable if the Señor Wences episode is probably the best one of this entire season. And also a few others, like, you got some fun ones as well. Not the best, but they are highly enjoyable, like the Johnny Cash one, the Roger Moore episode, maybe the Mac Davis episode as well, and also Gene Kelly and James Coburn. Like, you do have a few, like, enjoyable ones, but it's only a handful that are really, like, the standout highlights of this episode. So, with all that said, if I would have to give this episode a rating, or not this episode, I mean, if I had to give this entire season a rating, I would have to give it an 8 out of 10. Now, the reason why I would give it an 8 is because due to the fact that there are some episodes that they don't necessarily stand out as much as the other seasons. This is pretty much why it would get a point lower than many of the other seasons that we have. Especially from, like, season 2, 3, and 4. There are a lot of great moments that people are going to remember from this series in general. While this one, well, I'm not saying it ended off on a low note, it's just that it didn't really do something to really make it stand out in terms of what the Muppet Show has already done. It just played on its levels that it has already achieved. I know that they are focusing on many different aspects, like bringing in unique special guest stars, trying to push the technical levels of puppetry, or trying to make the stories more unique. But a lot of the times, they're trying to do that separately. It's like they're trying to do one of these per episode, instead of really trying to do them all at the same time. They're kind of more rare instances, but I would definitely say that the way that they concluded is still rather solid, and you still get a good batch of episodes from it, so I definitely am satisfied with what they got with Season 5. And that is pretty much it for this season. So there is one more big thing that I want to do with the Muppet Vlogs. So I've already looked at all the episodes, I've already looked at all the seasons, and now it's time that we're going to check out the entire show itself. So, overall, how is the Muppet Show? Well, we will only know until next time, so see you later, dudes!